Greetings, esteemed visitor. I am Inquisitorial Librarian Mandunus Manustus, a custodian of the Great Library of Terror in the 41st millennia. Within these sacred halls, the knowledge of the Imperium of Man is preserved, safeguarded and accessed by those deemed worthy. It is my duty to maintain the sanctity of these tomes and guide seekers of truth through the labyrinthine depths of our collective history. Today, the archivists have sought to trust this knowledge upon you. So, listen closely. Before in these lectures, we discussed the cryptex of the Xenos, the Necrons. Infamous among them is Oricon the Diviner. But more infamous still is the cryptech, Illuminor Szeras. Fellow seekers of knowledge, I come before you today to shed light upon a figure of great import within the enigmatic ranks of the Necrons. Prepare yourselves, for we delve into the mysteries surrounding the cryptech known as Illuminor Szeras. This creature, if one can even call it that, is an embodiment of scientific curiosity and intellectual prowess. Illuminor Szeras stands apart even among the cryptechs, for he is consumed by an insatiable hunger for knowledge and an unrelenting desire to reshape the very fabric of existence. What sets Szeras apart from his peers is his obsession with biological experimentation. He is an architect of twisted flesh, a sculptor of living nightmares. With his advanced understanding of genetics and biotechnology, he can reshape the bodies of both living and non-living matter, imbuing them with unnatural powers and abilities. First encountered within the Pariah Nexus, or the Zone of Silence. Devoid of the warp's influence, the zone bears the name of the Pariah gene, known for its ability to suppress psychic phenomena. However, the truth behind this enigmatic realm unveils a grand design crafted by the ancient Necrons, under the guidance of Szeras and the Nihilic dynasty. Within the Nexus lies a colossal construct, a testament to Necron cosmic engineering, the Zendu system. At its core, an immense Blackstone cage stands as a centerpiece, its purpose shrouded in mystery. To safeguard this monumental achievement, the Necrons deployed a formidable array of orbitals and warships encircling the Zendu system. These sentinel vessels stand watch, resolute in their duty to protect the Necrons' great work from any threat that may emerge. Stretching beyond the Zendu system, a labyrinthine network of Blackstone pylons extends into the depths of space, weaving through a complex tapestry of non-Euclidean fractal patterns that defy mortal comprehension. These sprawling structures, scattered across core and outlier systems, serve a singular purpose: to emit and sustain a field of anti-warp energy. These Blackstone pylons are colossal in their size and unique in their design, each one serving as a nexus point for the extension of the anti-warp field. Their presence resonates with a power that defies conventional understanding, a force that acts as a bulwark against the encroachment of the warp and the destructive forces it carries. The true extent and intricacies of this vast Blackstone array remain a mystery to mortal minds. Its purpose, undoubtedly entwined with the Necrons' mastery over cosmic energies, stands as a testament to their unrivaled technological prowess. In this unfathomable realm, the forces of the Imperium must tread with caution, for within the Pariah Nexus lies a convergence of ancient power, its true potential yet to be fully comprehended. Noctilith, commonly known as Blackstone, is a substance dimly understood. True, we know that the infamous pylons of lamented Cadia were formed from this substance. We know also that they were subjected to thousands of years of somewhat esoteric study by an unending parade of magi, crypto scholars, and even inquisitorial agents. Yet it seems that, for all of their posturing, arcane accoutrements and florid terminology, even the most exceptionally wise and well-resourced individuals learned only that they had ever more questions to ask. Some have asserted, rightly or wrongly, it is hard to say, that this substance is linked in some fashion to the stuff of the warp, perhaps even that it resonates with or against the tides of the Sea of Souls. If this is so, I have seen no direct evidence to corroborate the claim. Yet none can deny that when the pylons of Cadia fell, so too did the Great Rift open. I am too old and too cynical to believe in coincidences anymore. Now we see the Necrons raising pylons of their own and fashioned from that same substance. What can it all mean? I do not know, but I steel myself against the possible answers. Xenosavant Hesper Iax. Many historiators within the Great Library believe that Szeras himself is responsible for placing them. So great is the zone of silence and the anti-warp technology. It is reported that Group Master Marin made a strategic decision to initiate a widespread advance into the mysterious silent zone. Task forces were meticulously deployed with the intention of encroaching upon the systems of Paradise, Zydos, Shentai, and Vertigus. However, as each prong of the advance pushed forward, an unsettling aura of unease began to pervade the ranks of the Imperial forces. Navigators, astropaths, and psychers alike experienced a profound sense of disquiet, as if an unseen force dampened their psychic abilities and left them disoriented. Once effortless powers of the mind now eluded their grasp, forcing them to struggle in their attempts to channel their innate abilities. This stifling sensation permeated the air, casting a shadow over the once confident soldiers. Even the esteemed Mechanicus priests, with their deep understanding of the arcane machinery that powered the Imperial warships, sounded warnings. Warp engines strained under the weight of an invisible burden, demanding ever-increasing amounts of power to propel the mighty vessels forward. The very fabric of the immaterium seemed to resist their passage, as if some unseen force sought to impede the progress of the Imperial war effort. These ominous signs, a convergence of psychic disturbances and mechanical strain, served as a warning. The silent zone held secrets that defied comprehension, and the Imperial forces were being tested in ways they had never anticipated. Worse still is the effect of the stilling when the forces of the Imperial Battlegroup arrived on the silent planets. The insidious malaise that afflicted the Battlegroup's warriors intensified, particularly among the numerous regiments of the Astra Militarum. A sense of unease permeated the air, as if unseen eyes watched their every move, instilling deep-seated anxiety within the soldiers. Gradually, this disquiet evolved into a debilitating condition that consumed their spirits. Soldiers, once resolute, began to voice their concerns, expressing feelings of being constantly observed and overwhelmed by a growing sense of lethargy. The toll was dire, as commissars found themselves compelled to carry out a staggering number of executions. Imperial Guard troops abandoned their posts, spoke of surrender, or simply succumbed to a state of unresponsiveness, their bodies unwilling to move again. The psychic members of the battle group suffered even more profoundly. Psychers, in particular, bore the brunt of the mysterious affliction. They described a suffocating sensation, as if struggling painfully beneath an unrelenting deluge of water, leaving them perpetually gasping for air. Madness gripped some, driving them to the brink of insanity and prompting drastic actions, including self-inflicted harm or even suicide. The gravity of the situation cannot be overstated. The very fabric of the battle group's psychic network and communication system is crumbling, leaving us vulnerable and isolated in the silent worlds. Central to this great malaise was Illuminor Szeras. Lord Inquisitor Draxus theorized that the Necrons had been watching as Imperial forces landed in an attempt to recapture their lost worlds. From pocket dimensions, Szeras and the Lords of Nihilak watched, readying to spring their trap. After analyzing the reports from the conflict in the Pariah Nexus, it is evident that the discovery of the Mesmok pylon by the Ultramarines triggered a war of catastrophic proportions. The towering structure, constructed from Blackstone, and was clearly of Necron design. Despite their setbacks, they managed to gather strategic intelligence on the pylon before escaping. As word spread, it became clear that other similar pylons had been discovered on Imperial worlds throughout the region. Necron armies, appearing seemingly out of nowhere, fiercely resisted any advances by Imperial forces. Casualties mounted, and alarm spread rapidly among the ranks of our brave faithful. Group Master Marin, undeterred by the escalating conflict, focused on his objective. Despite warp drive failures and limited resources, he led a determined assault on the Mesmok pylon. Imperial warships engaged in fierce battles with Necron counterparts, resulting in significant damage and losses. On the ground, Adeptus Astartes and Astra Militarum regiments fought alongside colossal war machines to establish beachheads and engage the Necron forces. The clash between Imperial and Xenos forces was intense. Gauss energy and Tesla blasts tore through the jungle, while the Apocalypse-class battleship Triumph unleashed devastating firepower upon the pylon itself. Vox recordings show that cheers erupted as the pylon appeared to be destroyed in a blaze of fire and smoke. However, to our dismay, it soon became apparent that the pylon remained intact, shielded by quantum barriers. The situation grew dire and questions loomed. How many of these pylons have our enemies erected? How can we overcome them and bring about their downfall? As I ponder these challenges, I am reminded of the darkness that surrounds us, and though my faith remains unbroken, the path back to the light appears obscured. The conflict in the Pariah Nexus proved to be a devastating blow to the Imperium. Despite the valiant efforts of the Space Marines, the Imperial forces were forced into a fighting retreat. A fierce counterattack led by Marshal Gehart of the Black Templars inflicted heavy casualties on both sides. However, as the Imperial forces retreated, we suffered significant losses. The casualties were severe, leaving no room to conceal the fact that the assault on Mezmok resulted in a crushing and humiliating defeat for Battlegroup Kallides. After the devastating events on Mezmok, Battlegroup Kallides faced imminent collapse. The Necrons' enigmatic weapon drained their strength, while the Xenos armies relentlessly attacked on multiple fronts. Group Master Marin rallied reserve divisions and attempted to recall scattered task forces. Astropathic communication with systems beyond the affected area proved futile, leaving the battle group isolated. Desperate to relay messages, messenger ships were dispatched, but their warp engines and navigators' guidance were uncertain in the stagnant zone. On Via Almus Majora, Califor, and Paradise IV, the Imperial armies were overwhelmed by relentless onslaughts. Defeat begets another defeat. However, it is faith that shines brightest to us all, brethren. Ephrael Stern, a sister of battle of the Order of Our Martyred Lady, presented Group Master Marin with a risky plan, one that would turn the fate of the conflict for the battle group and change the tides of the war in the Pariah Nexus forever, on the scarred world of Cherist. The Imperial assault on the Necron began with an intense barrage. Unable to penetrate the enemy's fortified defenses, they redirected their firepower to the mountainside itself, causing widespread destruction. The Necrons retaliated with energy bolts, striking Imperial forces. Despite the resistance, the Imperial landing craft descended and unleashed squads of Sisters, Imperial Guard and Knights to engage the enemy. Stern personally led a formidable force of Battle Sisters and Astra Militarum troops through treacherous terrain, their unwavering faith guiding them. Alongside them, the infantry and battle tanks of the Imperial Guard fought with conviction, despite the looming threat of the Stilling. With the holy warriors of the Emperor at the forefront, victory seemed attainable. To the surprise of the Necron Pharaon, it was the embattled Imperial forces that launched a determined attack, overwhelming the front lines of the Necrons. Imperial Knights descended from elevated positions, while Ephrael Stern confronted Pharaon Shemvok in a fierce duel. The Lichguard fought valiantly, but could not withstand Stern's relentless assault. Eventually, Shemvok's barge was destroyed, reducing him to the wreckage. Though the fighting continued for hours, the Imperial ranks regained their faith, while the Necron command protocols crumbled. It was evident that the battle's outcome was certain. As the Dolmen Gates fell, and Necron structures were reduced to ruins by the Knights, one truth became clear. The Imperium possessed the weapon of faith to counter the Necrons' devastating entropic power. Battlegroup Kallides had a chance to triumph. Intrigued by the humans' resilience against the contra-immaterial nodal matrix, Illuminor Szeras and his cryptex tirelessly studied their specimens, seeking to comprehend the source of their psychic resistance. Dismissing the victims' claims of miracles and faith as primitive nonsense, the Necrons believed they had already vanquished their gods and considered the lesser races incapable of defying them. Meanwhile, the war raged on, with the Imperial forces growing stronger in conflicts like the Via Almus Majora counterpush, the Death March of Paradise II, and the Battle of Vorlian Wash. The Pariah Nexus's effects were partially mitigated by the power of faith, and some messenger ships managed to escape the Nexus and return with reinforcement task forces. After the Imperial triumph on Cherist, The war in the Pariah Nexus entered a new phase, recognizing the crucial role of faith in their plans. Adepta sororitas, Black Templars and zealous preachers rallied their comrades with unwavering conviction. However, the Imperial forces had yet to damage a single Necron pylon or understand its purpose. Amidst the battle group's focus on holding back the Necron legions, Lord Inquisitor Kyria Draxus took on the esoteric but vital task of leading this aspect of the war. It was on Tradica Ardaxis, however, where the Imperium forces, thank the Emperor, struck a crushing blow to the Necrons. Led by Draxus, the Imperial forces assaulted the tombs surrounding one of the planet's many pylons. The Imperial force faced relentless resistance at every step. Canoptech constructs emerged from the shadows, only to be repelled by relentless bolt fire. Necron warriors emerged from gateways, engaging Draxus's forces in costly battles. With their numbers dwindling, it was Ethereal Stern who guided them towards their objective. Guided by the Emperor's will, the Sister of Battle led them to a vast chamber filled with towering stalactites and stalagmites of Necron machinery. At the center, a towering figure composed of living flame writhed and screamed amidst crackling emerald energy. Before they could ponder its purpose, fresh waves of enemies descended upon the Imperial forces. Draxus, alerted by her allies, located the desired crystals bound within hovering machineries near the captive Catan. With the Death Watch and Battle Sisters forming a defensive perimeter, the Inquisitor and the Tech Priests worked to extract the mnemonic crystals. Wave after wave of Necrons assailed the dwindling Imperial defenses. Bolt shells and plasma blasts tore through the android bodies, but for every fallen Necron, another took its place. Ethereal Stern led the defense, her holy energies incinerating the deathless aliens. The Necrons continued to press forward, with Szeras appearing amidst their ranks, accompanied by a formidable array of war engines. Draxus made a decisive choice. With determination, and perhaps unwisely, she directed her power fist toward the machinery restraining the Catan and forcefully destroyed it, causing a cascade of sparks and chaos. The Inquisitor's intention was to create enough distraction to facilitate their retreat, and she succeeded beyond expectations. Unleashing its pent-up fury, the Catan released eldritch lightning in all directions, followed by torrents of scorching flames upon its captors. Draxus, Stern, and their few remaining allies regrouped, preparing to escape as the attention of the Necrons shifted toward the unleashed Catan shard. Reportedly, Szeras, in a state of panic, seemed to have momentarily forgotten about the human intruders. However, the odds of their survival still appeared daunting. Records from Imperial helmsmen on board the Paladin's Shadow, after interrogation, reported that Draxus and her cohort were teleported upon her cruiser, through nothing short of sorcery. The Catan shard appeared to spare their party in thanks for destroying its chains. While costly, we achieved knowledge. For knowledge, my friends will defeat the mightiest of foes. I shall gather my fellow agents, pore over ancient tomes of forbidden knowledge, and consult with the most skilled tacticians within the Inquisition. Together, we will devise a strategy to confront Szeras and his minions, exposing their weaknesses and exploiting their arrogance. The battle for the Pariah Nexus is far from over, particularly now that the Silent King has returned to lead his people. It is our duty to ensure that the light of the Emperor prevails over the encroaching darkness. Remember, brethren, the faith protects. In the face of Xenos, heretics, and chaos, we must remain united and resolute. Our Imperium stands as a beacon of light amidst the encroaching darkness. We must hunt down the Xenos with unwavering determination, root out the heretics with unwavering zeal, and defy the temptations of chaos with unwavering faith. Let us, brethren, rise to the challenges that beset us. Let us study the lessons of the past, unearth the hidden knowledge, and fortify our minds against the temptations of corruption. Together, we shall defend the Emperor's realm, for we are the sword and shield of humanity.